Evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Neighborish livecast. I'm Super Dave, aka Mr. Incredible, and with me, as always, are a couple of the coolest people that I know. Starting with our resident feminine energy. She's the personification of Black girl magic with a velvety smooth voice, the one and only Aisha Green. How you doing this evening?
Hello, David.
Hey, and I saw Mikey popped in and popped back out. I have no idea what happened, but he should be on momentarily. But while we waiting for him to get on, man, this is a very special episode. I know some people saw the flyer that haven't watched the show in a while and was like, they must not have had no guests, and the host is the guest, but he's not the host at this current juncture. So he's coming on to talk about all the dope stuff that he's doing. At his essence, this guy, you know how I write the, I got you, Jay. I
here we go. Let's hear it, Dave.
So I gave you a whole thing. I say, at his essence, this guy is a community organizer, a leader, and a warrior. He has parlayed these fundamental characteristics into countless rewarding and successful endeavors, including his latest musical collection series entitled JaySun for President, and his movie, self-produced and written and self-produced movie entitled Life on the Rocks. You guys know him as the dude that come hell or high water was right here with me in the beginning, and you know, I can't even, like, the words can't express how much I appreciate you being there every week with me, bro. The one and only JaySun is in the building with us, and apparently he works for Fanta now. I don't know what that's about, but we gonna find out.
Yeah, it's a long story with Fanta.
It's all good, but what's up, man?
All is well, man. How y'all doing, man?
We good, man. We good. It's always good to see you, brother.
Yeah, so, we back, man.
Yeah, man. We back in the building. It feels good. It feels the neighbors of Neighborish.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
I'm trying to see. It look like Mike is having some issues. Let's see if he get in this time. Let me give him a second here. But yeah, man, there's a whole lot of stuff going on in the world before we get into this interview, man. The news just came out today about we were just talking about R. Kelly, how he was convicted.
Yes.
There's Mike. What's up, brother?
I apologize. It's so good to
all
see
good,
you.
Man. It's all good. I seen you pop in and pop out and pop in and pop out.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. That's what I was about to say. You beat me by a half a second, nigga. But anyway, y'all know him, man. My man, 100 grand, the one and only Just Mike. Yeah, so we were just about to get into the R. Kelly situation. Did you get to look at any other stuff, Mike?
Yeah, you know I did. I had to. I was like,
yeah. So from what they're saying, you know, basically R. Kelly was convicted in by a federal jury on charges of racketeering, conspiracy, and 8 other counts alleging that he headed a criminal enterprise that employed agents, runners, bodyguards, and others to lure and trap girls and young women to satisfy his sexually predatory desires. That's what the Chicago Tribune said about their own R. Kelly.
Robert Sylvester Kelly, right?
Yeah, man. So Ish, man, he's going in. They said it's more trials because that was in New York. So that was just the people that was in New York. They got a trial set in Chicago and another one coming up, I think they said in Florida. And so yeah, once you get convicted once, the other ones usually just, fall. So it's a sad day for. Look, so this is what I want to know.
Who's the sad day for? Who's the sad day?
Right. Yeah, who's the sad day for?
Well, I mean, for him. But not for, not for the people who, accuse him. They're very happy. My question is, he finna go to jail, right? He's been convicted. So can we listen to Step in the Name of Love, man? Is it all right to do that?
No.
You still
I
can't
don't listen. I still don't listen to R. I don't.
Okay. All right.
That's my personal preference.
I want to be able to separate the music from the art. I mean, you do all the way around. I mean, there's so many crazy, trifling individuals in the entertainment industry. If that's the case, we probably wouldn't cut the TV on if you want to, know what was really good.
It practically is at that level now. Like, I think about all of the New Dimension, or I think it was, I can't remember the company he had, but that Harvey Weinstein EP'd or co-produced.
Oh, Dimension, like, yeah. His name's still on new stuff that's coming out. I seen something recently. It was like Weinstein Company. It wasn't his name. It was like
his brother's still part of it.
Yeah, his brother's
insight, Jay.
Yeah, his brother still works. So
yeah, you all right, Jay?
Yeah. No, I said I know you got some insight, Jay. I know you got some insight on this.
Yeah, I know, because you said, because we had conversations when Joe was on here, and when we talked to the producer, my boy, when he was talking about Hollyweird, and you know, you've been out there with all them weird. So I mean, any insight on the situation?
On which situation?
Kales and his conviction, and can you separate like the art from the artist? You know, the age-old question that we always talk about on it.
I mean, I ain't really got nothing to say about the R. Kelly situation.
Okay,
I understand that. I understand that.
But so as a person, like, would you still listen to R. Kelly music?
Well, I mean, I don't really bump R. Kelly's music heavily anyway. But I never, you know what I'm saying? I never really honed in on that situation. You know what I'm saying? I just, one of the reasons why I left the show is like, I don't really care about the world. You know what I'm saying? Was good. Like, I mean, it's just, I don't like talking about shit that don't mean nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't really have too much insight.
But your honesty is needed, though. I mean, while you say that, I wholeheartedly agree. Quite often, I hear David come on. We're talking. I love Dave. I love what we're talking about. But sometimes
he about to shit on me. You heard him start, but I love Dave.
I heard.
He'll bring something up. People like, y'all heard this? I'm like, no, I'm living my life. I don't know about none of that dumb shit. So. No, but we need that honesty, though. We need that from you. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man. I mean, even this whole little what's this section, like current events? Like, I give no fucks about none of this shit at all. You know what I'm saying?
That's whoa. Hold on now. You got some current events coming up that you give fucks about, though.
But things that I have something to do with, yeah. But I mean, the world, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not engaged, and part of the reason why I do what I do is because I don't like to talk shit about like all the music sucks. So what I do is I take all that energy and create what I feel is necessary, so that I'm countering what I feel is destructive or counterproductive. And I don't like people that just talk shit or like gossip about shit. So it's like I take my time to create the alternative to what people are talking shit about. Like, if you don't like this music, well, I've created this music. Or you don't like this movie, I created this movie. If you don't like these TV shows, well, I've created these TV shows. So for my own sanity and my own family and my own tribe of people who have, moral integrity as to how, our people are perceived on stage and screen and in music, you know what I'm saying? So it's like people just hate or talk or gossip all day, whereas I choose to take that energy and create what I feel is necessary, to counter that energy. So yeah,
control and change the narrative.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. He's the don't stop in this nigga. I know you don't have to tell him that.
He didn't the other day. So look, I seen him the other day. I said, man, Jay, you gotta get back on the show. He kept on. He said, "I got shit to do," and kept on stepping on. I understand.
It's busy out here, man.
I ain't mad at you.
It's real. It's yeah.
And I think that we roll up into the current events. We tap on it. A lot of times, man, we don't even talk on the actual, as you football know, the exact stuff going on in the news. Like, we don't get into the Biden bullshit and all that bullshit. I think we just try to shoot off a couple different instances and things going on and get some insight on it.
Get opinions. I mean, every now and again I would elicit opinions out of Jay, but I definitely know and respect his stance on it, because I mean, at the end of the day,
that particular one, like,
it's tough.
It's not even tough. It's like, it's not on my radar at all. Like, and have no desire to even. Well, about that.
All right, next subject, Dave. Next subject.
So, I guess, Kelly Price. Have you heard about that situation?
No, what's going on? She's missing or something, right?
Yeah, well, she's found. There was a whole thing where she had COVID went in the hospital. And when she was in the hospital, she said she did an interview on TMZ, said she coded and they had to, you know, bring her back and all this. So anyway, she wound up leaving the hospital. Her family reported her missing, said the boyfriend was saying that he wasn't letting people see her and all this. So she wound up coming out, you know, and doing the interview saying that she wasn't missing. People knew where she was. It was a lot of drama between her and her family. Apparently, you know, her family hadn't really talked to her that much, you know, since some other things transpired between them. And so now they're using this as a platform and all this. And it's a weird situation. Isha, had you heard anything about it?
Yeah, I saw it on TMZ. TMZ reported it. She was listed in the national database of missing people. Yeah, it was a lot. And Kelly put out a video saying, I'm not missing. I'm dealing with COVID. I literally flatlined and died from this disease. So please leave me alone while I recuperate.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, just underscoring the seriousness of what's going on. Jay and I had a conversation maybe like 2 weeks ago when we walked. So I'm trying to get my you know, y'all know I've been changing up my eating habits and stuff, but you know, I'm trying
for
to
the
do
last
more.
10 years.
Hey. But no, been serious since the whole, you know, diabetes thing changed. Like I gave up all, like I haven't drank a soda. Anyway, so I'm trying to change up the you know, my exercise habits too.
Sure, yes, sir.
So when I thought about that, man, I thought like, who's the person that I know for a fact that I can't say? Because most people I'd be like, man, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I need you to hold me accountable. And then they call me or reach out to me, and I'd be like, man, forget you, I'm asleep. But I know I can't say that to his brother. So I went to JaySun. He was like, because he run every day around the block. And not just the block, but you know,
thank you for making me feel better.
Mile, Jay?
Thank you.
Say what?
You say it was what, an eighth of a mile or something like that?
Yeah, 800 is like 8 football fields.
Okay,
yeah, uphill. Y'all live in the hills.
Uphill, yeah. That hill is not no joke. So every Sunday we've been out there doing it. Yeah, so it's been beneficial, but I also enjoy the fact that, because one of the main reasons that you know, I brought Jay into it was just the quality of the conversations that we had. So I was missing that interaction.
You didn't bring me in. I told you to come do it.
No, I'm talking about the show originally.
Oh, okay.
Running.
I thought you meant the running.
No, that was you. He's been doing that for years. Yeah, no, I ain't gonna get on here and lie to the people. Make up some stuff. So yeah, I was running and I told you, hey, come on, man, stop being late. Nah. So, but yeah, I was saying that, you know, we get a chance to have those conversations again. And you know, so we was talking about dang, man, what was I saying?
No one knows but you, Dave.
I don't need smoke. Yeah, that's crazy. But
I want to ask y'all something.
What's up?
Specifically, Jay and Aisha, and they, all of us. Let's say we this got picked up, and however it went, you bring your ass, Jay. You understand that, right? You bring your ass. We got to do a verbal agreement. You coming along, but then you know what I'm saying, somebody's talking about us. Like we talking about some, you know what I mean? Like Kelly Price, whatever. Hey, Dave's missing because, you know, I would be really pissed off at any notion of you giving any of my information, number one, to anybody. Number two, being wrong. Like that type of shit right there. I don't even know how I would cope with handle that. So I understand when he says, you know, not delving into, it's not even on my radar. So like honestly, Kelly Price, I don't know the last song she made. I mean, she sings, right? That's what I want to hear her do. Other than that,
well, I think that story is somewhat relevant, and it was on my radar, not because of her, but because there are hundreds of thousands of Black women missing every year.
Yeah,
and that is on my radar. Not specifically Kelly Price. I'm glad the sister was found and all that, but hundreds of thousands. I think, you know, like 166,000 Black women are missing. And now that is on my radar. That is something very relevant that I find worthy of conversations. And, you know, not just on this show, that should be talked about like every day.
All the time.
And, you know, the organ harvesting, and now like they're putting wombs into men to have babies in men. Like, where are the wombs coming from? Like, where are these women's bodies parts coming from? And why are there so many Black girls missing every year. There are Black women missing every year. Hundreds of thousands all the time.
Latino as well. I mean, of color, women of color.
Women of color. And so like, so, you know, that's something that is on my radar that I don't feel is clickbait or that is like a Hollywood news story.
Right.
Maybe the whole Kelly Price situation has some underlying issues, but the fact that so many Black women and people, you know, women of color and girls of color go missing every year, and it's not breaking news every hour, every day of the week, every month of the year is
like Inside Edition specials on CNN on
it's like, yo, that's
she's not a white girl in Aruba.
You know, that's super serious.
I'm sorry, but I'm just saying.
She's
a white chick in Aruba, and she came up missing. Oh, what's the problem? But you know, that was 4 or 5 sisters on a vacation. You know, fuck them. You know, he's right.
Yeah, right. Definitely, and that's what I was coming back to. Thank you for giving me a second, Mike, to come back to it. The conversation we had about, you know, COVID and about how serious it's been, and you know, Jay, I know you went through some stuff, you know, and I don't know how, you know, you cool with talking about it a little bit.
Yeah, shit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Real nigga.
Yeah. I know you. I ain't want to jump into it. You be like, nigga, chill, nigga, you know. But I know you an open book, man. So you had COVID, like you went through it, and your immune system was able to fight it off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but
barely,
rough moment.
Barely, It took my body to the brink. Actually, I think, you know, because, you know, anybody who's experienced COVID to like that high level, that high degree, you also start to have mental, it's like it attacks your mind too. So, you know, there's like hallucinations and all types of things that happen, not just to your body, but to your mind. And then, you know, I remember I was in like this weird state, and I saw like my body having a conversation like with my spirit. And my body was like, yeah, nigga, I'm done. I've done all I could do for this nigga. I'm out. If you got him, you got him. But I've done all I could do. Then like my spirit like took over and I made it. But yeah, it took my body to the brink. Like it took everything I had.
Were you hospitalized? Were you home? How did you number one? I mean, okay, so were you able to like trace it back to? I mean, probably, how do you even trace that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's weird, you know, it's weird, but I thought I'd had a sinus infection. And typically when I get them, because I had smoked so much, like I was a smoker, you know what I'm saying? I smoked so much. Typically, whenever I get a sinus infection, I can knock it out in like 3 days. Because, you know, I'm a holistic dude. So I got teas and herbs and remedies that knock shit out. Along with prayer and, you know, the assistance of the ancestors and, you know, those that I'm connected to and all those things. So after like the 3rd day, it started getting worse.
Right.
It broke my body down. Like I was immobile. And so I had to go to the hospital because in 2018, I had pneumonia. And I was like, shit, am I getting
that messed you up too?
Yeah. And yeah, so I wound up going to the hospital, you know, real bad. And then yeah, man, it just hit me like a brick, man. I couldn't move, I couldn't talk, I couldn't function. You know, people was calling my phone, I couldn't even answer the phone.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's how
I called you a couple of times. I was like, this nigga always answers for me.
Yeah, and that's how I am. Like everybody who always called me, know I always pick up my phone, and like people was trying to get in contact, and it's like I could slide the little joint open, but I couldn't even talk. And so that prompted my mother. My mother came, kicked the door down. Boom!
Shout out to Black Mama.
Yeah,
there you go.
He was like, fuck that. Like
what about the like the people in your close knit, like your kids and stuff? Are they okay?
Everybody got it. Nobody was affected like me, but my mom got it worse than me. You know what I'm saying? And I told her, don't come over this joint. I told her don't come over. I told her.
Say that to your mama, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, you can say it, but you know.
My kids had it, but they ain't really had no symptoms though. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, obviously we got everybody tested, everybody that I was around.
That's what's scary about it. How it affects it quite differently.
Yeah, but it all turned out well, man. My mom had it the worst, but you know, my mom had it, her husband, my uncle, like my baby mother, you know what I'm saying, her, you know, her partner, like all like everybody that I'm close to had it. But I think me and my mother had it the worst, you know what I'm saying? We was able to get through it. you know, and everybody else is good. I'm good. But it definitely it took, you know, I thought I was gone, man. I wrote a will, you know what I'm saying? Because my body I was literally, I thought I was out of here. I was like, okay, well, I had a good run, you know what I'm saying? Like my life started flashing back. And you know, the real thing, man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. That's some real shit, man. When I was going through that, man, like, I really thought it was over, man. And you know, this is for a lot of people who struggling with this, man. Like I grew up in the church, right? And it's been a constant challenge for me, breaking away from that church, because you know the way I was raised, the way I came up, man, like that whole notion of Jesus has been my rock. It's like, so when all else had failed, like, you know, my mother and, you know, like all, you know, my grandma, my great aunts, like that's what they told me to rely on, man. And I challenged that, you know, early in my life, like in my late 20s, I was like, that shit ain't the way. And you know, when I went through this COVID shit, man, I stepped all the way away, and I called on myself. I believed in myself, and I believe what I'm connected to, without no religion, without no type of indoctrination or doctrine. And I remember, man, I rapped this verse to one of my songs, and I instantly started feeling like energy. And it was just, you know, for anybody who grew up in the church, the hardest thing in your life, when you seeking truth and you seeking true liberation, is to step away from Jesus. It's the hardest thing anybody ever have to go through that came up in the church. And it's the scariest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? It's the hardest, scariest thing, because you gotta, like, it's like you stepping out of a spaceship into a black hole with no cord,
with nothing
connected to the ship, you know. Nothing. And it's like it take the ultimate strength. It take the ultimate, like it's like the most gangster shit ever. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? It was one of the realest experiences that I ever experienced in my life, man. And I was right. You know what I'm saying? The power lies within us. Like we are our gods. We are our own saviors. Like we need to invest in ourselves. We need to pray to ourselves and our mothers, you know what I'm saying, the wombs that we came from, and uphold and do rituals and chants for ourselves, and give ourselves adornment and praise. And, you know, we need to lift ourselves up, man. We some supernatural, unthinkable, unfuckwittable beings that exist on this planet. We ain't really recognizing who the fuck we really are, bro. It's like we've been fucked up with what we've been taught and what we believe in. And it's, you know, a lot of people gonna be like, "Oh, that nigga talking bullshit." It's like,
it's honest though, and it's funny you said that. I was reading. There's this guy. His name is Emmanuel Mathis, I think is his name. I'm pretty sure it's a blue check, but regardless, he was, one of the things that he said, like he had this list of things. He was like, sage equals not God. Crystals equals not God. Chakras equals not God. Like he had this whole list of spiritual things that are identified, and he said that's not God. And he's like, you know, these are all manifestations from Satan, and, you know, it's essentially attributing it to devil worship. And I was like, whoa, that's heavy. Like,
well, you know, I ain't here to persuade nobody. I ain't here to persuade or get nobody to think a certain type of way. I'm just responsible for myself and my children. And I can look at the results of the way I walk in this dimension and how it's worked for myself and my family. And that's really all I can base, you know, my words and my actions off of. You know, because other things may work for other people. You know what I'm saying? But I've been on a true, genuine quest for truth. And I'm just following the directions in which I've been led.
JaySun, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back after a word from our. No, I'm just playing. We don't got no sponsor. But yeah, man, this is, you know, and it's a level of depth, you know, that you always add to any conversation. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it. And yeah, because we be
Man,
on.
he knows that. He knows that. He knows that.
Well, I'm sure he knows, but I mean,
you can see it in his eyes.
This is my brother. Like,
well, I mean, you know, I'm connected, man, and so it's like I don't really take credit for me knowing anything, man. I'm just following direction and following instruction. You know what I'm saying? Just following signals. So it's like, you know, I don't.
Where does your guidance come from?
That's a good question.
Myself. You know, prayer.
I understand that. I have a compass.
meditation.
I have respectfully, I have a moral compass. You use the word unfuckwittable. You understand that? You understand that? I picked that. God damn it. When you take syllables and prefixes and shit, and you combine them into some shit that actually makes sense, well, thus they actually apply to the dictionary. Why ain't I God? Fuck you, it's unfuckwittable.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough concept, man, which is why I don't try to like tell people that's the way. But when people ask, which is why I don't really speak much unless I'm asked things, which is one of the reasons why I left the show.
Made you tough.
You know what I'm saying?
As a co-host, I'll be like, Jay, you got anything? Nope.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So,
but I'm gonna ask you questions all night long.
Yeah, and I'll answer questions all day and all night. But just, you know, a lot of people just talk to be talking and just trying to like enlighten people or get people to be a certain way or do certain things. Like that's not me. But if people ask me things, I'm always like, I don't duck no smoke at all. Any debate, any conversation, anything, I stand on my square in any scenario.
Man,
Jay,
that's
your guidance.
Go ahead, Mike.
Let me see your guidance. Brother, man, you're picking up books.
Yeah.
You're picking up some information. What are you picking up? I mean, if somebody's watching us and listening to us and we're searching for enlightenment, once you pick up a Bible, a Quran, or whatever it is you pick up, you pick these things up, and if you have any wherewithal, you start to realize there are beautiful stories and there's some very, very real truth to them. But there's obviously something deeper because man felt the need to put this on paper, and it's got to be deeper than even what we see and or read. What are you reading, sir?
Well, first off, in regards to like the Bible, you know, which I don't believe in, which, you know, I got, you know, I'm setting this up. You know, I don't believe in Christianity in any type of way. You know, I'm more spiritual and, you know, just like you said, I have a moral compass of how I treat the world. But I will say the biggest influence in my life to this day, even with all of the shit that I just said, is Jesus. You know, whether he's real, fake. I'm just saying. So so I only respect. I can count like on my one hand of people that I really respect. And right. So whether it's a character or not. So the story of Jesus the Christ is my number one foundation of what I've molded my life around. So it started as indoctrination as when I was a child, you know, coming up in the church. Like my mom was like a churchy church lady. So Sunday school, Bible study, retreats, like you name like my whole, you know what I'm saying?
Bible, right.
You know
Sunday was not the only day you was at church the whole week.
Right.
So, but you know, in my 20s, you know, I broke away from the church. I just thought it was quite ridiculous. It didn't have any logic to it. It didn't make any common sense. I felt that it was used to, to herd us into a society, to manipulate us for labor and, you know, wealth and all of these things. But at the root of it, man, like whoever wrote that story, just like how Jesus was carrying shit, like when people asked him questions and he spoke and like how he handled situations, it's like, that shit can't be made up. Like they got that from something or somebody. Like somebody
flipped the switch.
That's the most gangster nigga that ever walked the planet. If he walked, like that's what I'm saying. Even if it's a story, they had to get that shit from real. Like the reason I fuck with like Scarface as a rapper, it's like I know that nigga lived the life he talking about. Right. Because I had so many experiences. Like, yo, it ain't no fucking way this nigga can make that shit up.
Right.
But you know, it's like I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Like, can nobody write Scarface lyrics for him? That's him having. So that's how I feel about like Jesus the Christ. Like whoever the fuck they got that story from, and like how he specifically handled situations and carried himself and like viewed the world and like, you know what I'm saying, just stood on this square and situations that was just wild. Like, yo, like that's the biggest influence I ever had. But it's like people blur that like if it's being religious. It's like, nah, nigga, I'm just because I read the Bible myself without the religious context once I got like a junior in college.
And so let me tell you how they blur it.
You say what?
They blur. This is how they blur it. The instant you started saying, I don't believe in Christianity, then they cut us off. They ain't listen to a damn thing you said thereafter.
Right, yeah. But you know that, and that's cool, because it's like it ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like the nigga said himself. You know what I'm saying? It's like he know everybody ain't gonna be down with it. He looking to get his core people, because that's all he needed. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't trying to save everybody. And because he was going to the hoods. Like this nigga was going through the most ghetto ass towns in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't going to like the cathedrals and the, you know what I'm saying? This nigga was in alleys on hills. You know what I'm saying? Right. The hoes and the drug dealers and shit. You know what I'm saying? He knew what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't trying to fuck with them niggas that had all the money. He's like, fuck, this ain't for y'all. Yeah. So it's like, you know, but all that to say, man, like, yeah, I don't want to be divisive because I know people are spiritually tied into that.
Yeah.
And I ain't got no knock against that, but it's just like, you know, very similar to Dr. King. Like, you know, I've been to the mountaintop, so I've seen the truth, and so I ain't trying to tell nobody. I ain't trying to persuade nobody. It's just like I gotta walk my path. Yeah. And, you know, and but you know, luckily I've been surrounded by other supernatural beings who have very similar visions and very similar abilities. And, you know what I'm saying? I got like a spiritual council here in this dimension, and we all help and guide each other. And so I've been equipped with everything I need and, you know, everybody I need around me. So it's like, I guess that's why it's not like I don't really need to talk a lot about nothing to nobody, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so, yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to touch on that a little bit because that was one of the conversations that we had, because when you say like, you don't try to, you know, like indoctrinate other people or get them to believe what you believe, that was a process, because it was a time when you had beliefs and you was like, man, you got it. I remember. You know, so I've seen the metamorphosis within you. Can you talk about like what prompted that change of consciousness to understand that it's not for everybody and it's, you know, not something that you can, you know, force people to adopt?
Well, just getting older and wiser and just seeing the process, you know, because, you know, there was a phase that I was real political and I was a lot more gung-ho because I had become able to articulate our oppression. It wasn't just like, yo, we fucked up. Like I you know, I've been through political education, understood like politics and understood war and understood strategy and like human behavior and social engineering. And so it got to a point where I could actually articulate like, yo, I can tell you exactly what the fuck is wrong. Like if you listen. And so it was frustrating. But then what
was frustrating?
It was frustrating that people are addicted to society.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Deaf ears?
Well, it wasn't deaf ears because they could hear shit. They hear it and then ignore it.
Choose not to listen.
Choose to ignore it.
It's like in the Matrix. He was like, yeah, I know this ain't really steak, but you know, ignorance is bliss. Like I enjoy this fake ass, you know, computerized steak. It makes me feel good. And with age and understanding, I'm more empathetic and understand that. And it's like people just want to be like, yo, let me just enjoy the fake shit. Because life, this
the fake it till you make it. What the fuck is that?
I mean, see, Mike, you need some growth and wisdom, nigga. So you gotta understand. You gotta understand that a lot of people aren't equipped. That's why, you know, the Matrix is an excellent like tool to study
for what's going
when
on.
you know, because it's like that's why Morpheus was like, yo, we don't break people after a certain age. That's like trying to get somebody off of heroin. Like if you take them off heroin, they could die.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't like they weak or they don't have the will. Like they literally, if they go through withdrawals and you a heavy heroin addict, your body can literally die.
Yeah.
Literally. Like not, you know what I'm saying? So it's like sometimes you just got to send them to the little methadone clinic and just keep them addicted so that they don't die. You know what I'm saying? So it's very similar with coming into an understanding of your true self and your true essence of what we're connected to and the powers that we have and the ability to manipulate this dimension to how we see fit for our benefit. Like, you know, it ain't for everybody. That's why they're elites, and there are like these secret societies that have information. That's why there's like 8 miles of tunnels underneath of the Vatican with like documents and secrets, and you know, there's a whole, you know what I'm saying?
And DC. It's a whole damn world.
Yep, DC too. Yep, you're right. So London, DC, Rome, it's another, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it ain't for everybody. And you know, that just comes with time and understanding the human psyche and you know, all of these things, as opposed to let's trying to get everybody free and trying to get everybody woke. You know what I'm saying? Like woke ain't for everybody.
Yeah, some motherfuckers need 5 more minutes. Go ahead and
hit the snooze button. Right?
And sometimes that's best. That's best because you know, to maneuver in this dimension takes a level of strategy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like, man, you know, I don't really fuck with a lot of people because too many people. Like my man XO, we did a song together. He got a verse. He like, keep my circle small like a hula hoop, not too big, not too small.
Yeah.
That was a dope ass line.
Just shout it out. That's the bet. So yeah, man. Before we get too deep into before we start the official interview, it's 2 more things.
We already got
yeah.
Deep.
Well, I mean, it's deep. We had that was the JaySun fist up moment for the evening.
That was a couple of them.
Yeah. It was 4 fist up moments because you haven't been here in a while.
I don't really feel like he put his fist down level.
I think that day you seen him in the car, he was like, "Nah, nigga, I got you." His fist
no. Fuck the day I seen. Every time I've ever seen him, there's a level of intensity about him that's intriguing. Intriguing.
Yeah. So
it reminds me of. Can I be real?
No, be fake, nigga.
So you ever be around a motherfucker that's like fucked up on dope, like leaning like. Well, it's intense, right? And then you say something like, you know, your ash with the fall from your cigarette. You be like, no, it ain't. I mean, he's still here. He's still here. He might not be here with you right now, but he here. You did.
Yeah. So you saying Jay is like a dope fiend? I don't get I
know. No, I just feel like there's a level of intensity. Aisha, can you relate? You understand what I'm talking about? You know what I mean?
I do, yeah. Like Jay's spitting some real talk, and I concur. Like, yeah, there's a lot of things that when it comes to, especially us, you know what I mean? Like for Black people specifically, I know that there are things that are said and designed to keep us oppressed across the globe, like from continent to continent. But there's that. So being the, you know, ebony people, we be catching hell.
That jumper that Andre 3000 had on this tour, and written across the front was what do you say? Throughout history, darker civilizations suffer more. Why?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he always catch the, you know, so. You know, so Mike, you be kind of all right because you're a little lighter than
Want to go down that rabbit hole, Dave?
Look, so no. Hold on, Mike.
Hold on. Down that rabbit hole, Dave?
Hold on, Mike. Before you go down the rabbit hole, real quick, this is what I wanted to, before we get into the interview and to the meat and potatoes of what we talking about tonight, which is all the stuff that JaySun got going on. Before we get into that, I need to talk to you, Mike, about something that took place this weekend. You moved the camera away from you and your beautiful wife, Y'all had your 1 year anniversary. And shout out to that, yeah. Black love is beautiful.
Congratulations.
You know what I'm saying?
1 year, y'all. We had a good time.
A year, man. So hold on. So real quick, a year into this married life. Like, this is Mike. I know Mike. Of how many years we known each other, Mike?
Probably about 27, 26.
Probably. It's been a while. And I honestly, I ain't never think Mike was ever going to find a woman that would well, anyway, I ain't think Mike was going to get married, is what I'm going to say.
Why?
Well, I mean, you just ain't seem like the marrying type. You're an abrasive dude. You always been real genuine, but I don't know.
I'm abrasive?
Yes, you're abrasive. But you know what? And I thought about this last week when we had Toy on there and how y'all connected and how I've been in situations with you. And it's so, that Jay got the line, real recognize real. It's a common thread through real niggas, right? And so I see like, and you, I've seen it in Jay, I've seen it, and it's only a couple of people. Marvin was one of those dudes, my cousin. Like, you can talk to anybody and they come away feeling connected to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've seen it with both of y'all. Or not. Yeah, I mean, but those people like
one way or the other.
But those are the same people, like you mentioned when you said when Jay said he wasn't with Christianity and they cut it off. And those are the people who don't let their own, you know what I'm saying, ignorance or their own lack of understanding go beyond what they feel is right. You know what I'm saying? And I've strived all my life to not be that person. That's why I would get like a lot of flack. Remember when we were doing getting over the hump, and y'all, you always on the fence. So you're like, nah, I just listen to people and I want you to change my mind. You know what I'm saying? I want to understand why you feel a different way than me. And if it's something that makes sense, I might, for millions of years, people thought the earth was flat. You know what I'm saying? Until they found out some new information that made them look at it a different way. And so that's what I strive to do. Like, I'm always learning. So I just say that to say, I see that common thread running through all of y'all. But back to originally the marriage, the year in, like, what's your synopsis? If you had to sum up marriage after this year, like, what's your like, how do you feel about marriage as
it probably ties into you saying you never thought I'd be married. She deserves better. I got to be a better man all the way through and through. I got to get healthy. You know what I'm saying? She deserves, my full on push to foreverness, whatever that's gonna be. You know what I mean? I'm grateful because she brings to me, like, when they say, somebody light the corners of your heart and your spirit. When they're real dark, and she can cast a little light down there and give you some will to keep on. Like, I don't know what COVID is like. You know what I'm saying? Like, COVID, you serious? Did you have somebody close to you taking care of you when you was dealing with COVID, Jay?
My mom.
And that for that individual to contract it, that's
that shit hurt me.
Yeah.
I told her, I was like, nah, I don't come. But yeah, I mean, yeah, man. But your wife is a different scenario, man. It's a different type of love, man. So I salute you on making that step. It's honorable for a man like with your convictions and the way that you are and the way that you live your life to kind of like open yourself up to everything that marriage is, which is a lot of compromise, a lot of self-reflection on how you got to be better. It take a real nigga to like be married for real. Because I know a lot of niggas that's married, but they ain't married. Yeah, they ain't really.
I understand why you've been. You know why you drop a knee to the woman and give her a ring? Does anybody know why? I know you should do.
Castrate yourself.
Oh my God.
Man. So back when
JaySun, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
It was not colonial, but the
medieval times.
Knights in Charlotte armor, they surrender to the woman. And they bend their knee. It is a matter of surrender, because it's like when you surrender to the woman, you find out whether or not you're a worthy leader. And she'll tell you that. And that life mate thing, so it's for some of us. For me, it most certainly is, because the person that's in my life, she makes it worth the while. Like we was going to go to Puerto Rico. Hurricanes and shit go to Puerto Rico. We're not going to Puerto Rico, we're going to DC.
Mm-hmm.
We have. I can show you. We have National Harbor, Georgetown. Eating well, make steaks, have a good time. Look at the horizon and the sunrise. And have a good time and enjoy life together. Just talking, loving. That's all. Back home now. Off tomorrow. Do it again. So a
Okay,
year
y'all gonna get
into
into
it,
something else tomorrow?
crabs and maybe go fishing. She like to go fishing. It's crazy. Something.
Cool.
When you come from the city, it's like, we don't go fishing now. Man. Live out here now. I'm like, man, I got a hook, I got a reel, I can throw this shit in the water and catch a fish. Yeah, I might eat this damn thing. If not, it's fun catching it. It's fun catching it because my kids enjoy it. So,
Cool,
I'm grateful for life. And I'm here. So you said you didn't see me being married.
Like, I mean, well, it's just so and that's more about my personal perception than about you as a person, because
I said you. That's why I said you. So all
right, nigga.
There's no clarification needed. I hate when you do that, Dave.
But listen, let me finish. So the more I got to know you, that's when I saw that, like I said, that common thread and how attractive that is to people. It's not too many places, and it's another thing that's common between you, between Jay, and all the people that I know that's real people. It's not too many places I could go in this city, and probably on the East Coast, maybe in the world, where somebody's not gonna be like, hey, what's up with your boy? What's up with Mike? You know what I'm saying? Or hey man, don't you know Jay? What's up with Jay? It's people just, they feel connected, you know what I'm saying, to the energy that you guys exude, man. And it's appreciated. I don't know if you guys even know you have it because it's so effortless. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't even know how it happens, but people wind up connecting. Like anybody I talk to about any of the podcasts I do, they always say, what's up with Mike? What's up with Mike? Like I always get that all the time. And so that side of your personality was something I had to come to know and come to understand as a genuine dude who, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause I ain't know that about you. So yeah, but so I ain't mean no kind of disrespect, but yeah, I ain't.
Oh, you fine. You ain't had to marry me. I appreciate that, Dave.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, but y'all had a good anniversary and continuing to have a good anniversary celebration.
Hey, so look, it's my birthday. I'm 41. Guess what I'm doing?
What?
You mean I'm doing this shit right here? I'm doing this shit right here with you. I mean, that's what we doing. I'm enjoying this. You know what I mean? It's life.
Today is your birthday.
But listen. This is the thing.
Hold on, wait a minute.
I play chess. So her birthday is the day after Valentine's Day. And so because we celebrate these things for her and us and our family, she gets a double whammy. I made sure that my birthday was the day after our fucking anniversary.
Nigga, wait a minute. Why you ain't tell me today was your, wait a minute, man. All this time I known you, what's the day? October the 27th? I'm terrible with birthdays too. You may have
September, nigga.
I mean September. See, that's how bad with dates I am.
So my birthday is the same day as Avril Lavigne, Lil Wayne, and Shakespeare. Fuck,
I don't what? Anyway, but yeah, no, I think
September 27th.
Birthday. Nigga, I just didn't know. We would have had a party on this. Everybody would have had
a party after the show. I'm watching Monday Night Football. I'm watching Dallas. They shit split open. Fuck Dallas.
Okay, there you go. But yeah,
man. Back up. Speaking of which, my man is. I ain't talking about the fan of hat. How you a Steelers fan? Man, they are champions. I love the selfness, and I do love the Steelers respectfully. But you from here? Are we that sorry?
I'm Native American.
You offended?
Yeah, it's my family went to the Supreme Court case in 2009 with Dan Snyder when we were, representing ourselves and John Kerry shit. And so, I can't stand by that man, in that history of that name. And to be honest, like if it wasn't him, like we know what the name mean and where it came from in the history of it, but subjectively, personally with me, it's just him. You know what I'm saying? So I can't rock with nothing he got his hand on at all. I definitely was born and raised a fan of the home team, but like my great aunt, who actually is from that Pittsburgh area, like my family's from up there. And she's the one that told me about our Native American ancestry, and told, had pictures and deeds and all types of evidence. And she used to tell me when I was young, but that shit ain't mean nothing to me when I was young. I ain't want to hear none of that shit. Oh, man, what you talking about? But as I got older and I was really searching for my history, I really wanted to know what I was connected to. She would sit me down and have these conversations, and I'd be listening to her different. She'd be telling me, it's one of my, and so my grandmother passed when I was 2, so just my grandmother's sister. And I remember when I was like 5, I was like, yo, because all my cousins, we would go up to Pennsylvania, up by Pittsburgh in the summer, and they all had grandmothers. And so I used to stay with my great aunt, which is my grandmother's sister. I was like, can you be my grandmother? Because everybody else, had a grandmother whose house they were staying at. I was like, yo, can you be my grandmother? She was like, yeah, but she was the one who used to tell me about our Native American ancestry and what we was tied to. So all that to say, one, I was up in that area, you know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, my uncle, who was my great aunt's nephew, played for the Washington team. I actually got that's the only jersey. Well, I got a Sean Taylor jersey too, but it's a Pro Bowl jersey. But I got my uncle jersey, and this is Skins jersey.
Pro Bowl. Well, that's because he hit the shot, that motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. I got that joint, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. So briefly, that's why. But I was born and raised a Skins fan, you know what I'm saying? But then once my aunt finally got through my thick skull about our ancestry and our history and the meaning of that name and how it's connected to my people and what it means, I had to make a moral decision, another hard decision based on my morals, my values, and my principles as a man standing on my square, to be like, I can't represent that, even though that's been my team for life. But luckily, that the Steelers has been my team for life too, because that's, I got tribal family in that area too, the Appalachian Mountains area, really all over. But yeah, so I'm tied to the Steelers in that way too, which is also a racist organization because they had steel mills and, you know what I'm saying? So none of them is good.
And the thing is, so like you said, it's like you have to we had to make a decision. If you're a Redskin fan or a Washington football team fan or a team that plays football in the Washington, D.C. Area, you had to make a hard decision because you realize
it ain't hard. It ain't hard for nobody.
You said no. When I say hard, first of all, when Jack Ken Cook passed on and he gave it to drink to his sons, he didn't really give it to him. When Daniel Snyder came along, they thought they were just going to bring him along for the portfolio. They didn't realize he was trying to buy the whole thing. He was a pompous little ass and jerk like you said he was, and which is really what he is. He's also a Redskin fan, so it's like, damn. That's why he put so much money into it and shit. But ultimately, if his goals and his issue is fucked up, it's tough because when you align yourself with something, you want to be right. You want to be right.
Yeah. It ain't that big of a deal to me though.
I think for me,
Steelers are better anyway.
It's more fuck Dallas than anything.
Hey, they all the same to me, man.
Fuck Dallas.
This dude, I was with my mother, she a Steelers fan. We was in the grocery store earlier, and I had my hat on, my Washington hat, and she had a mask on and had the Steelers on, and this white dude, just, how they are. He just walked up to us, wait a minute. You're a Steelers fan, and you're a Washington fan?
Sure.
He's like, well, both of you lost.
Yeah, we lost. But you know what, Mike? But to also, I'm also a football player, right? And so I just feel like the Steelers franchise is run and organized better. So win or lose, I align with how they approach the game of football. I like how they coach. I like how we recruit. I like how we strategically approach the game. So even if we lose, I'm prideful that because I'm a coach too. So even with coaching, I'm not really concerned about wins and losses per se. I'm much more concerned as a coach as to how we approach the game. Are we mentally prepared? Are we following cues? And if another team is better than us and we're doing everything that we practice during the week and we're executing on the field, because in high school it's Friday nights, it's like I'll accept a loss and still congratulate my team for executing the way that we went over it. Now, with the Washington team, I can't stand on the way that they approach the game. Like I can take a Steelers loss and still feel honorable. It's like, all right, this team executed better than us. But we
need to look at a football life, James Harrison.
Oh, that's my man, obviously. You know what I'm saying? You
need to look at that shit.
It's dual fold with that.
Yeah, that shit blew me. You because everything you speak of is what you want.
Yeah.
As a football player and as a coach. And when you look at the James Harrison joint,
yeah, he's somebody I could ride with. I could ride with him.
Yeah, but the blessing is that he's really, really misunderstood. Washington joint. It's called A Football Life. It just came out last. Washington joint. Watch it. Cut 4 times, 3 times from the Steelers, once from the Ravens. Finally get on. He's the only person to ever be defensive player of the year undrafted.
Mm-hmm.
And let's fast forward to he's 37, 38, 39, killing shit.
Right.
They want him to sit on the bench for TJ Watt. He's like, man, cut me. No hard feelings. His business, cut me. Mm-hmm. And they just unceremoniously let this man go. And that's what I like about football. And that's why I want our kids to know. You know, you please put something else inside you other than football, because they don't care about you, man.
Not at all.
They don't care about you.
They don't care about the cutthroat, the business side of it is so, you know, that's with everything. They took something that at its core was a game, it was fun, and made it this business thing that's dirty and nasty and grimy and doesn't care, and you know, what chew you up and spit you out.
Of football in America is washed. I think I could be, I forgot which, I think it's Ike, I think it's Eisenhower, but you know, it was wartime in America, and so a lot of the Americans were soft. And so they wanted to implement a war simulation in the culture and the thread of America. So that's why football.
Soldier Field.
You know what I'm saying? It was, I think it was Eisenhower.
Playing football in Soldier Field.
It was a time where they were trying to, you know, promote like warrior mentality into the general population. And so, you know, so like even in PE classes used to be like tough. They used to be like military training. In like the 30s and the 40s and 50s, like you have to like
kids ready to go
military drills, and because you know they was trying to toughen up the society to be warriors, and you know to not be so complacent and get fat and you know thinking like, oh, America's just free just because, like, nah, America is quote unquote free because they go murder people, and you know what I'm saying?
Right. And we need you to come murder people with us.
Yeah. So like, y'all got to be in shape because niggas might come for us, bro.
Right. Eventually, it's gonna come home. But yeah, man. So with all that being said, man, I do want to get into talking to you, Jay, specifically. You said if we ask questions, you'll answer it. So I got a whole bunch of questions. And the first one is this, man. The hell is wrong with you? No, I'm just playing. So
I don't even have an answer. That's the one answer that I don't have, Dave.
Nah, that's just a joke. I already know what's wrong with you. I'll tell you about it later. But so you touched on a little bit, because you know people have asked me questions about, you know, where's Jay? What happened to Jay? He's not on the show no more. And you know, and why you stepped away. And we've had conversations, you know, a lot about it. You know, we talked about it. Maybe not a lot, but we have had a conversation about it. And you know, I appreciate what you brought, and the fact, like I said, that even if nobody else was there, we went through a couple of female hosts, a couple of different situations. You was right there the whole time, and like I said, that means more to me than anything. But the reason, and like you said a lot about, you know, what we talked about and stuff, but a little bit more about like the goals and the things behind the reason why you stepped away.
I just, you know, I don't like talking about shit. And that's the wrong mentality to have to host a weekly show talking about shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't really have much to say about current events and, you know, anything that's in the media or anything that isn't like prevalent or relevant to the liberation of our people, or to us, organizing or mobilizing. So, you know, like during that time, you know, I'm co-founder of a nonprofit, and, you know, I'm trying to use the arts to kind of like enlighten. And, you know, it's just, you know, I don't really like talking about stuff unless I'm asked. And, you know, there's so many podcasts, there's so many talk shows, there's so many reality shows, there's so many people trying to be seen and trying to be heard. And I'm like on the opposite end of that spectrum. And I would be doing myself a disservice to be on somebody's screen every week just talking about random shit. Like if it was specific, that'd be a different thing. But just to be talking about topics, you know, my spirit just ain't with that shit. You know, it ain't real deep. It's just that.
Yeah. So I just wanted, the clarification in your own words.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I know you also had some things to do, like you said. You started the nonprofit while you were here, but that became something that you know, took some of your time. And then also and you are a really good guest, surprisingly, because you touched on it. You kind of opened up, you know, all the stuff that I wanted to ask you about, you know, your efforts through the arts to you know, answer these questions and fill these voids. So with that being said, you got a movie that you made, that you wrote and produced, self-produced, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, self-produced, but I got money to do it, so I got an executive producer. But the production is concerned, like handled all that shit.
Got funding.
Yeah,
you know, got the big bill. So the movie's called Life on the Rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd the name come from?
Well, you know, when I was in college at UDC, I also worked as a vendor on MLK, at the top of MLK, right across from St. E's, where it used to be Andre's Car Wash and the Safeway. You remember the Safeway was at the top of the hill?
Yeah.
I think it's like Tech Prep Academy now. But yeah, so I was a vendor, and my homeboy that I was vending with gave me my, you know, I was working as I was going to college, and, you know, and I wrote this script back in college. And I was just telling him about the script and what was going on. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, I think he's talking about like one of the characters, man. He's like, man, hey, life on the rocks. You know, talking about like the ups and downs, like when shit's rocky. And and I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna use that for the title. And that was in '99. And I called him earlier.
Man, nigga, you old. No, I'm just
yeah, absolutely, man. It's a blessing, man. It's a blessing, man. I want to stop right now and give thanks, praise, and appreciation just for being alive today.
Hey,
to be called old, I give thanks and I'm humble and appreciative. But yeah, man, and that's where the title came from. My man Carter, who gave me a job and taught me entrepreneurship, like, because, you know, every day when I got out of class, go to basketball, you know, the days before I wasn't in the season, I would work as a vendor. And so I became like a hustler, entrepreneur, without having to sell drugs. I earned my own money. I sold like go-go tapes and you know, incense and oils and shit. And he sold like shirts. And we had a partnership. That's when DDTP was popping. And yeah, man. So that's where the name came from. My man, I was telling my man at the stand about the script, and he just threw that out there, and it stuck, and I just kept it.
Yeah. So you was telling them about it. What's the movie about? Like, what's the plot?
Well, I mean, so even back then, man, so big thing even back then, like 20 something years ago, was like them being the government knocking down Berry Farms. And, you know, so that's been a conversation that you know, since I was little. And so now it's finally happening 20, 30 years later.
That shit happened. That shit is done.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is like how long it took. Like, cause I wrote this script in '99, and that was kind of like the underlying topic of it. Like, you
delve into the history?
You say what?
Do you delve into the history of it?
Oh, absolutely. History? Oh yeah, absolutely. Wow. Yeah. But not in the film, but personally. Because the film isn't really about Berry Farm. The film is more set in Anacostia. But to answer Dave's question, like what's it about? It's really about the changing of the culture with gentrification. So now that there's a new demographic in this community, it's like how the community is being affected. And so it kind of follows the story of one family, but there are other like all of the characters are tied in together. So there's a character that just came home from prison from doing 14 years. So he's coming back to like a whole different city. Like, yo, what the fuck is this? And then, you know, there's a family, there's a father who was a writer for the Post. And then that father has an addiction problem. But his addiction was caused by him being incarcerated and being, you know what I'm saying? And so he has a son that's a police captain. Then he has another son that's a business owner in Anacostia. And so, you know, and so it just follows the lives of different people in different circumstances and how the changing of the culture is affecting them. You know, especially from the eyes of the police officer, from the eyes of the business owner in this community, from the eyes of the guy that just got home and is trying to find his place back in this society, from the eyes of the father who has two sons that are, you know, witnessing this change. And so, you know, in a nutshell, like the three through lines is like the effects of gentrification on the Anacostia community, police corruption, and how, you know, I guess, you know, gentrification hasn't completely happened in Southeast. Like it's still shootings and
it's a process.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
but it's moving though. It's moving,
but it's moving. But when I see the roads fucked up, I see construction, and I see shit still.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So all you know, like, so it's like it's that walking the line. Like, is it different? Is it the same? Like, is it, you know what I'm saying? So then you got the
it's almost like District. Remember in the weird movies where they take these drug fiends and put them in this night movies, The Wire. They actually put shit for you to see. You know what? This is the strip. Y'all keep it down there.
Right.
Leave it alone. And that's what is going on. It's really. I mean,
so it's a lot of interaction between like white people and black people, and you know, like Dave, you know, we ain't never had no white neighbors ever.
Yeah,
we
running around. They're like, hey,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like
the Simpsons right here. I'm like,
so it really deals with like the true inner thoughts of the true indigenous residents of this community. So it's not watered down. It's not Hollywood. I didn't have like a white producer telling me like, oh, I think this might be uncomfortable. It's like, nah, bro, this is like really our voice, you know, our story of what's happening in our community in a real way, unfiltered. And I did it. So, you know, I ain't really cutting no cards at all about like how we really feel about the environment and our surroundings changing right in front of our eyes, but it's through these different characters and their scenarios and the situations that they're going through. So that's what it kind of is in a nutshell, without giving you the specific plot and the specific story.
Right. Yeah,
like, through these different characters, you see internally, emotionally, what they're going through, what they're seeing, like how things are happening, how the community feels. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's kind of like Life on the Rocks and the gist of it.
So yeah, I want to delve a little bit into your mindset and writing. First of all, the timing of it right now, just because it's so interesting how cyclical, how life runs in cycles, and some things ain't even a cycle; it's just a constant through life. And so, the way you were feeling in the time you wrote it, and how it was 20 years ago, and now 20 years later is the time. It feels like a really perfect time to put it out, because things are still moving. I think people are do you feel like it's more awareness about it now? I know, you know, there have been movements, there have been things that people have popularized, the Don't Mute DC, just different things to shine an eye on the gentrification and how it's been changing the landscape of DC. Do you think that's made this the perfect time to put it out? Is that why you decided to do it now?
Well, no, I mean, I decided to do it now because I got money.
Yeah.
I've been trying to put it out since I wrote it, bro. It's just like,
it takes money. It takes money. It takes a budget, right?
And so luckily I got a funder. I'm an artist in residence at On Floor Gallery on Good Hope Road, and part of my residency was to create my film about this community. And so I again, I give thanks and praise for the opportunity to be an artist in residence, to be able to share our story, and to be given funding to complete the film. Because I've been trying to put it out since I wrote it, Dave. It's just I believe in divine time, and I think now it's supposed to come out. I don't really question things too much. Like as long as I do what I'm supposed to do as a man, and just stay righteous, stay humble, stay focused, stay driven. Like I think things will happen when they're supposed to happen. So yeah, I think now is the time it's supposed to come out. And
when and how can we view the movie?
Well, so the DC screening is scheduled for October 7th, but my editor recently and his family contracted COVID. And so that has delayed my editing process because, they were down. COVID affected him and his family in a bad way. And I think they just kind of getting back today. Matter of fact, I just got a call from him today after about 2 weeks of trying to get in contact with him, trying to figure it out. So hopefully we can keep that October 7th date to be screened at the Art Theater, 1901 Mississippi Avenue in Southeast. Because I was supposed to do an LA screening this past Friday, which I wasn't able to do because, like I said, I wasn't able to get in contact with my editor. And I thought I would potentially have to postpone the DC screening. But to answer your question, Mike, it's not going to be available for streaming. And we probably going to put it on Netflix, but it won't be until like mid to late next year because I'm doing a film festival run for the first 6 to 8 months of next year. So I'm going to do a couple of screenings here in DC, Atlanta, New York, and LA, where people could come like view it, check it out, invite a couple of like media people, press people to do some write-ups on it. Then it's going to be submitted in a couple of film festivals, for like the first 6 to 8 months of next year before it's up online for major distribution and visibility.
Yeah, Aisha brought up a good point. I have no idea why she didn't just ask the question, but she sent me a message to say, have you reached out or are you connected with ABFF, the American Black Film Festival?
Yeah, well, I got like a person. I got a person that's submitting it to. I think we got like 30 film festivals, and I think that one's on the list. So that's definitely a part of the. Even your question earlier about the IMDb. Yeah, that joint. Yeah, so we be putting it on it. So, but it's like I can't. I wear so many hats already, man. So luckily, I've been connected with people who can handle a lot of these things.
Yeah, I think Aisha, you plugged in with IBFF,
ABFF.
ABFF.
Yeah.
What I say?
You combined IMDb. I think.
My bad. Hey, look. But anyway, you connected with the people with all the letters in their name.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I'll reach out to Jay. Yeah, because Veronica, she does a lot of stuff with them, and I know Chad. He's been in their festivals and stuff too. So I'll slide in Jay's DM.
Yeah, I mean, but I definitely have a whole promotional and marketing strategy of getting the film seen and also distributed. So that's been a blessing too, man. So to not just to be doing this joint in vain, but actually for this joint to have legs. Make it happen. Because right now I'm still in post-production, man. So it's so many phases after that. Mm-hmm. And I also just got verbal confirmation that my next film is about to be funded. So thank you. And that's like with
heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. His next film.
Yeah, and that joint's ready to go. So it's like as soon as I do this film festival run, I'm right back to production mode again, man. And to continue telling our stories, man, and creating art that makes sense to us, that puts us in a place where, we can represent ourselves, unfiltered, from a genuine voice, especially, basically all of my stories are coming from the perspective of Southeast DC. Because it's like, I know all about LA through movies. I know all about New York through movies and music. I know all about Chicago. I know all about Atlanta. I know about St. Louis. I know about, all these other towns through their art, through their MCs, through their filmmakers, through their, the theatrical productions. But we don't really have a voice or a story. And we probably are the most powerful city in the world. And there's no true voice in any platform. I've never seen a film or artist from DC that kind of represented the essence of who we truly are and what we really represent and what we really, experience. And so,
what's funny about that is even because when you said that, I was about to make a joke and be like, you ain't never seen DC Cab back in the 80s? But people won't even remember what that was. But so, and you've seen it, and from from stuff that I've seen and stuff that I've been a part of, I know for a fact that even the stuff that's supposed to a certain extent, display or represent DC, it's typically not DC. It's filmed in Baltimore. DC Cab was filmed in California. I was like, it was supposed to be DC. It was palm trees. What's wrong with them? But yeah, so not that it was the 80s. But I say all that to say, even today, like when I did the background work on House of Cards, and they're like, yeah, it's supposed to be a DC office building. So meet us in Baltimore for the shoot. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is not authentic. Or like when
there's nothing in no art that represents us. Maybe some documentaries.
And even if it is, it's nothing that represents the our side of DC. Everything people know about DC is the White House, the Capitol, is the monuments.
Yep.
Probably some FBI, some
right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like
they know Ray Evans. They know that. That's all they know that.
But how? It's through some FBI or police.
Some documentary.
It's not from him. It's not from his people. It's from
May 3rd Productions. That wasn't him.
I don't know.
Oh, his movie.
That drink. I think that was him.
It may be. I don't know. I'm just saying. From a
you're right though. It's not
I've never seen any major film like anything like that's on Netflix or on a major streaming service or in the movie theaters that come from a Hollywood studio, anything that has anything close to a representation of Washington, D.C. and the indigenous voice and the indigenous people from our perspective.
So when you say it's another one coming, so I guess the second one is of DC as well?
All my shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care because we so underrepresented. Like I got 13 scripts on deck and I can say at least 7 of them are based in DC because I got like a sci-fi joint, but even
back up. You must understand when you speak of script, Dave says this word to me, script, which means we must write something. And he speaks to me because he's like, Mike, I wrote the script and I'm doing this. So when you say you don't want to talk about nothing, we talking about something. Somebody need to hear what you're talking about because when you say script, you didn't say script. You said 13 of them motherfuckers. You did.
Yeah.
So what's going on inside of you? What's going on inside of you? And then that's to be seen. Now what? How do we go into
and the weed just hit him. No, I'm just playing.
No. Speaking of dope fiend,
you said 13. You said 13. You had 7.
Yeah.
Well,
we in line for one more.
What you mean? What the fuck are you talking about, Mike?
I can tell he had the long pause. It's the weed, y'all. But look,
give me a second.
Yeah, take your time. I'm gonna jump in there while you coming down a little bit off of your. But yeah, man. So one of the things that I like a theory that I have about creative people is that they're typically not creative in just one area, in just one genre. and that speaks to almost every true creative that I know, including yourself. You also have a collection of music that's broken down into parts. It's a series that you put out different parts of, and the entire piece, correct me if I'm wrong, is entitled JaySun for President.
Well, it's the presidential mixtape.
The presidential mixtape. Okay, see, that's
volume 1 is JaySun for President.
Okay, and then the second one was El Presidente, right?
Correct.
See, I know something. So you have another one that's coinciding with the movie, right?
No, so there's a third installment of the presidential mixtape series, but it's not part of the movie. So that's going to drop. Well, like I said, I'm just getting these dates back because of my editor, and so if indeed my editor is, we get back on track and I do the screening as scheduled on October 7th. The third installment of the presidential mixtape series is due to drop October 29th.
Okay.
And that's called Lost Election, the concession speech. So so that'll complete the 3-part series of the presidential mixtape series. But that's just a mixtape. So there's a separate Life on the Rock soundtrack. You know what I'm saying? So there's a soundtrack to the film, but that's not going to be released until Life on the Rocks premieres on Netflix.
Okay.
So when the film premieres on Netflix, that'll be the day that the album, the soundtrack to the movie, drops. So in the meantime, in between time, during throughout the screenings and the film festival run, I'll be pushing that third installment of the mixtape to kind of give people, something to rock to till the soundtrack drops.
The third mixtape is done?
Yeah, well, it just got to be mixed, but it's done. Everything's recorded. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's dope, so I really like it.
Yeah, that's good. You've been in the creative space lately. Like the last two, you kind of had those positive. Not that you don't always, make sure your stuff is of a certain quality, but I've noticed your mood about them has been real. Yeah, this is some. I feel like something about it.
Well, I mean, and tying it all into like me, like stepping away from the show. Like I feel it's not just it's relevant. It's relevant art. Like it's not like, hey, listen to me, I'm hot, I got bars. Like I really think it's helpful to the culture. I really feel it's a valuable contribution to the artscape of our city and to our culture, and like what a Black man is saying in these particular times in the world. And so I feel like they just culturally relevant. So it's not to be like, yo, I'm hot or I got bars. It's like, nah, I'm releasing this art that I feel is relevant and helpful, like for my children to grow and develop, and to instill some pride and some wisdom into our communities. That because working with DCPS for over 20 years, man, the most powerful teacher in that school is them earbuds in their ear, man. They listen to that shit more than they listen to anybody, their parents, their teachers, their coaches. So whatever's in their ear, like that's the teacher of today's youth. And so I'm trying to contribute to that, and I'm trying to be in their ear, telling them some shit so they can survive, not only survive, but they could thrive and manifest, the genius and the God within themselves. Because what they listening to is horrible, which is why there's so many shootings and why there's so much misunderstanding, which is why so much disrespect for women and themselves, because like that's what's being pushed. And like those earphones and earbuds are the biggest teacher in our society right now. So I'm just trying to be in that lane, whereas though the people surrounding me, have some balance for that shit.
So with that being said, I want to get your opinion on something that I realized. So I had a period, I think like you said, and like most people, where I was really into church, where, that was the place to be. I was, feeling it. And I remember reaching a certain age, I had stepped away for a while. and they used to, my church used to do lock-ins, right? You know, the people go in and stay overnight. They bring the young people, you know, they have little games and stuff for them. And they had one, and my mom was like, "You should come and talk to the people." This is right after I did like the Pizza Hut commercial and all that, so everybody was all, you know, Dave. So I'm in there, and I'm looking at the kids and thinking about how I felt when I went to those, and how nothing that was being said, I cared. I could not care less of what was. I was in there to hang with my friends, to joke around. So, and I'm looking at the kids, and they're the same way. And the value of what was trying to be taught to them, like I was at an age where I understood how passionate these older people, these deacons, these men and women of the church, and all this, how much they believe what they were saying, and how important, in their opinion, it was for the kids to understand it. But I also understood the disconnect, and that no matter how much they felt or how passionate they felt about what they were saying, there was a wall there that I had, at that point, I had no idea how to circumvent. And to a certain extent, I found myself trying to talk to them, because I kind of had their ear a little bit, just because they knew some stuff about me, and trying to get them to understand. I say all that to say, you talk about the earbuds and becoming a part of that. Is there a plan? Is there a strategy to get them? Because I feel like 90% of people, 90% of the stuff that's made specifically for a certain group of people, they never actually see. Like there's people who, you know, I'm trying to think of a good example. There's a lot of them, like, you know, like the church stuff that's made, that they feel like that's made for the people out on the streets. Like you talk about how Jesus went to the hoods and the most grimiest spots, and it's stuff where churches and religious groups, or just groups in general, feel like we doing this for them. This is what they need to hear. And there are these you know, people that's out there, whether it's the young people running the streets, whether it's the old heads that's strung out or burnt out or whatever, they're never gonna hear it, right? Like it's not even in their realm of understanding. Like it's not even. So do you have a strategy for getting in front of them and getting them to actually pay attention? Do you think about that stuff? And I'm sorry to put such a heavy thing on you, but I mean, I feel like you do that can handle it, and at least, you know.
No, I mean, it's real simple. No, yeah. I don't have a strategy for all that shit. It's just, you know, I'm true to myself. And I think, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I ain't real philosophical at all. Like, I'm pretty primitive in my thinking, man. Either shit works or it don't work. Like, even what you were saying about the church, like, shit ain't work because it ain't real. Church has been around for how many hundreds of years? Yeah. Ain't been able to do shit. Because look at the community now. It's 5-6 churches on every block, all over the country. Ain't no fucking result. Like the proof is in the pudding. Like it don't take rocket science. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to be philosophical. It's like, yeah, okay. How many hundreds of years all this shit been here? It ain't work. All right, that shit don't work. And so it's like, nah, I ain't got no strategy to change shit. Like, I'm just making my contribution, man. You know what I'm saying? So and I think, you know, like niggas listen to me because I got an element of the people, the demographic that I'm speaking to. Like, you know what I'm saying? The niggas around my way respect me, not, you know, because I've been right here with them. You know what I'm saying? It's like niggas, we don't really respect no church niggas. Like that's just real. Like people ain't gonna say that for real, but don't nobody they don't get no motherfucking respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? But and the people that I've been affiliated with my whole life, like we've been solid forever. Like since my childhood, I've been with like solid niggas. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's been my, like even being an artist in DC, like when people was trying to hate on me, I ain't gonna say, hey, that's not true. I retract that. But when people wasn't giving me opportunity, it's like what they couldn't hate on my legitimate hood connection. And my consistency. They was like, well, we can't hate on Jay but so much because this nigga is really affiliated for real. Like it's no game. You know what I'm saying? Like my whole life I've been affiliated with real niggas since I've been a child, elementary, high school, adulthood. I've been affiliated with some true stand-up men who stand on our square and go to war with anybody all the time. And that's just something you can't hate on. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, church don't have that. Like, I ain't gonna listen to a church nigga. Like, fuck, you got to tell me. Like, I'm looking at your approach, and I'm looking at the hundreds of years y'all been implementing y'all strategy, and I'm looking at the results, right? And then I look at the strategy of the implementation of the people that I respect, and I look at the effects of the people that you know, the handful of people I got, like the people who really study Jesus the Christ. And I look at how they operate. I'm like, oh, okay, they make moves. The people who genuinely study Malcolm X, and I look at them and like how they move and the results that them and their family. The people who genuinely study George Jackson, and I look at them and I look at how they move and like how they stand on their square. The people who genuinely study Fred Hampton, I'm like, okay, I see how they. The people who genuinely study Assata Shakur, who genuinely study Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. You know what I'm saying? I look at what they intake, how it affects their movement in the world, and what is deemed successful for their well-being and their development. And then I look at church folk. And I'm like, you know, like I said, it's just primitive thinking. It's like, oh, like they confuse the shit. And you know, I ain't knocking nobody.
Yeah,
it's real primitive. It ain't no philosophical, in-depth, like getting deep. I'm just looking, I'm just observing what it is. So to turn, you know, circle back to your question, like, am I trying to, you know, get in there, you know, a specific strategy to try to get in, like, nah, I'm just doing, like, I do my music for my block. Like my niggas has like Cedar has always supported me.
Right.
And so when I create art, like, it's really for that demographic of people, but it's like who we are, we so real, like it's us is all over the world, in South Africa, in London, in Israel, and you know what I'm saying, and Tokyo, and you know, in Mali, and you know, we all over. So it's like I stay in my lane of the people that I'm connected to. Like everywhere I've been in the world, I met niggas that I'm still friends with today. I got real OGs in Cape Town, South Africa. I got real OGs in Fez, Morocco. You know what I'm saying? And because I connect with people anywhere in the world, because we all connected. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I just stay in my lane, and I don't have no specific strategy. Like, I'm gonna get the masses, and it's like, nah, bro. I do what I do for the people who is for, and it's like, nah, I don't got no strategy to kind of get nobody or strategically do shit, man. I'm just doing what I do because it seems to be well received for the demographic that I represent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So look, I do have an opportunity to ask you some stuff that I've always wondered about you.
Really? All this time, nigga, you haven't asked me everything?
Yeah, and because at first I was like, I know everything about this nigga. It's nothing. Because I had that issue when I interviewed Renard, when I interviewed your cousin, Young Boss, and I was like, man, because at that time we had spent way too much time together, you know, working on music, going to shows and stuff like that. So I felt like I got into a rut where I felt like I knew so much about him, I didn't want to ask him no questions. And so, and I started to feel like that. I was like preparing for this, but then I was like, nah, it's stuff that I always wanted to know about you. So, and these questions start coming up in my mind about. And so, a couple of things. First of all, you alluded to all of the hats that you wear. You know what I'm saying? All the different things that you do. And as long as I've known you, you've always done not just something, but a vast amount of things. What do you consider yourself? Like when they say, what is JaySun? Like what name would you, because you know, in the opening, in the intro, I was like, he's a warrior, he's a leader, he's a community organizer, he's a tap dancer, he's a backflip artist, he's a ninja, he's a stockbroker. No, I don't know. But what so what would you like, what do you consider yourself, Jay? Or do you consider yourself anything? Or like, you know?
I really don't, but I think on my IG, I think I have like artists.
It's that simple.
I mean, I didn't put a lot of thought into it. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't you was trying to, simplify. You just didn't even think.
Yeah,
artist is the best way.
Because I think they give you like the little categories to put on there. And
right. Yeah.
Artists came up. I was like, click. Yeah,
that's the
work.
one.
Yeah, that'll work. You know what I'm saying?
But so, at the core of yourself, like you don't have any one thing that you consider yourself like a rapper, like a filmmaker, like a producer, like entrepreneur, the philanthropist.
Nah, man, it's like I'm semi-detached from shit. And so unless a title is like necessary for me to maneuver, which it doesn't seem to be. I mean, like I don't give a fuck, Dave. I'm just trying to be the best person I could be. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck about nothing, bro. I ain't gonna say nothing, but
but I mean, I feel like, and let me ask you if this is because I feel like at 41. Shout out to Mike for laughing so hard. I don't know why, but I think it's just the weed. Anyway, I do. At 41, I've started to come to a place where I want to do a lot of stuff. We talked about, people wanting to do stuff as opposed to actually doing it and making moves. And there's things that I want to do and accomplish, and I still have a lot to do. But as for like the titles, it's like Dave is enough. Like so,
I like Dave.
Nice. Like that's enough. Like I don't need. And so I feel like Mike, that was kind of what you alluding to with your giggles. But so let's see. We talked about what the movie was about. I should have had all this ready. I got another message from
Oh shit.
Okay, that's nothing important. I thought it was somebody asking you a question. So the music, your singles that was popping, that did some things out here in these streets. So you had I know you had We Can Do, right? That's the name of it?
Yeah, I love that.
That was you and
Jacob Soul.
Shout out to Jacob Soul. Yeah. Amazing voice. I'm surprised, he you got it. Well, I mean, you one of the people that motivate him do stuff. I've been trying to get him to do a song for a while, but we're talking.
He's not going to do shit for anybody else but me.
Right. No, shout out to Jacob though. Like
when he sees this, he's going to laugh. He can be like,
yeah. I know. Yeah. No, that's why I said it. But he's one of those dudes I know that you was talking about. You was talking about your collective. Like he's a special dude. Like
very, very helpful. Very supernatural being trapped in a human body. And man, like he's not normal. Like he has unrealistic abilities and powers, and but I'm surrounded by, like that's what I'm saying, man. It's some people just have these human shells, but we don't realize what we are, man, and like what we can tap into if we just allow ourselves to be ourselves. Like if we allow ourselves the time and space to step away to what we're addicted to and what we're connected to, the power that lies within that, it is so life-changing, man. You walk away with a different lens towards life, and he's one of those people who have that understanding, which is why he's a little bit more detached than me. Like at least I still tap in with people, but that nigga, he'd be like, fuck everybody, nigga. I call you whenever I feel like it.
Right. Yeah. But genuine people, like I get that same vibe from him, that common thread that runs through real people. And so I think that's why it's only a few people that's allotted the freedom or I don't want to say the luxury, because they don't really care that it's but they people give them that space to be that and to to do what they do, and it's not an issue because they know that's that level.
They that powerful, and it's
right.
It's like take it or leave it, and niggas need that shit. So it's like, all right, nigga, I'll let you be the weird ass nigga you are because you got all these powers and shit. Like, all right, nigga, whatever.
Not going there, but him a little better than I do. I'm not going as far to say he's a weird, but he's good people. I like his music.
Different. When your boss, my boss look at me, not my boss, but the white dude I work for. He's like, I know you don't have no filter. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, you don't understand. You don't understand. Ring, hello. Thank you for calling Midas. How can I help you? You guys open? Thank you for calling Midas. How can I help you? This is not a recording, you stupid son of a bitch. Listen,
Right.
it is what it is. So you got to be your authentic self at all times. The question is, I'm coming back to as far as I'm back to it. You ready? So you got 13 strips, blah, blah, blah. My question was, you're going to learn on the second go round more from, the first go round. First go round, go through so much of a process. Like you talking about COVID attacked the editor, and we got, a deadline, October. It's not a deadline, it's October.
Well, not really. I mean, the theater is booked for that day. Yeah, but
okay.
Yeah, man, it's divine timing. But that's a good thing you highlighted though, Mike, because this next film is going to be done so much better because of the process of doing this
efficiency.
One. Yeah, it's just learning on the fly. And, I haven't produced a film in 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I've been working with as far as my creative consultant is Haile Garima, who was just acknowledged and received an award from the Oscars Saturday.
My goodness.
And so so he's just been helping me reacclimate myself to film because he's harsh. He's like Mike on steroids. He was like, you've been doing fucking theater for 20 years. He's like, I want to see a film. He was like, I'm looking like a fucking stage play on screen. He was like, you got to make it a film. So he was just going in on the joint, but it helped me so much. But because I brought it to him after I finished shooting. And so he was just giving me notes and pointers of what I need to do and to focus on being a filmmaker. Because I had been doing theater so long, and theater is dialogue driven, whereas the film is scene driven, like visually, the visuals drive the story of the film, whereas though in theater the words drive it. So he highlighted that to me, and I needed that. And he's real harsh, and but it was necessary. Me and him have a great relationship. Like we love each other. I love him like a father. He loves me like a son. But if you ever saw us having conversation, you would think that we hated each other's guts. Right. We be cussing at each other and talking shit, and then all right, nigga, see you tomorrow. Nigga, all right.
Right.
But yeah, man.
That abrasiveness is necessary, though, right?
I mean, and in film, not even just him.
Why do you keep saying? Why is it abrasive?
It's not really. Rough? It's just niggas is soft. Rough? It's not abrasive.
Two rough things and they're doing what? They smooth themselves out.
Yeah, I mean, and so it's like that's how we can talk like that because we get shit done, and so it's no time for to care about somebody's feelings or how they're gonna take, especially with two men. It's like, yo, we got some shit to do, and it's crunch time. Like, nigga, this shit is ugly. I don't like this. You need to do this better. And I'm like, all right. And I did that shit, came back the next day. He was like, all right, good. And then the next day it was love. He's like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like initially it wasn't no time for all of that schmoozing and all of that. It's like, nah, nigga, this, that shit sucks. Go do this, bring it back. I brought it back. Then it was like, okay, now I can talk to you regular.
And so, but like you said, if people from the outside saw it, they might interpret it a different way. Not that matters, you know what I'm saying? Not that people's opinion matters, but if they saw it, they might interpret.
But they have. People have seen, because he's up at Sankofa on Georgia Avenue, and so sometimes we not in the edit room, we out in the bookstore in the cafe area, just going on each other. So people be like, "Yo, y'all okay?" It's like, yeah. I got to show. It was like, nah, this is how we do it.
Anytime you loud and aggressive, man, if people pause, they're okay. Like, that's how we.
And then he's from Ethiopia, but he's like a nigga though. You know what I'm saying? Like how you greet people. It's like how like niggas in the hood greet people with insults. Like, hey, what's up, you ugly mother? You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, look at the thug with the tattoos. Like, oh, welcome. Like, he's like, you got like 6 girls pregnant. That's what you young black boys do, don't you?
Oh,
but people be like, it's all love. That's how we talk.
Right. So, but yeah, obviously, you know, it's that you know, that steel sharp is steel type thing. That you know,
he definitely.
So you said it's abrasive, Dave. Abrasive.
Well, that's what I meant. I ain't mean like, you know, niggas can't handle it, but some people can't. That's why people thought people coming up to y'all like, oh my God, are you okay?
But to your point, Dave and Mike. So I don't know if you know, but Hiley was a film professor at Howard for 20 something years, and I used to come sit in on his class as an actor for some of his students when they're doing their films, and so he would call me in, I'd do some film, and then after the classes, I'd be chilling around because people be asking me questions and and trying to hire me for their films and scripts and whatever. But I mean, he's made several people cry, like just of how aggressive he is as far as, because he wants people to do so well. And it's like, I think just in one session, like 2 or 3 girls came up to me crying about his critique of their work. And it's like, it's like they ain't built for it. Like, if you can't take that shit, like, you in the wrong industry, because it's like he gonna give it to you raw. He don't give a fuck if you a little petite 100-pound girl. He don't care. Like, he just looking at the art. He's looking at the film. Is this shit good? Is it gonna make the cut? And if it's not, he's gonna tell you. He's not gonna try to like console you. And so it's like, but yeah, I think like 2 or 3 girls came up to me like literally crying, like tears in eyes, crying. And it's like, he's so harsh, and I'm trying to do my best, and I wasn't nothing I could do. I was like, yeah, he was right.
Get on my face with me.
It was just like, yeah, your character development was, what I'm saying? I just got to, because it's film, it ain't no time. And I ain't saying that it's just women, because when I first worked at BET, like my bosses were women, and it's the same. They cut, you got to be like, so it ain't like it's a woman thing. It's just the girls that I encountered in his class were the ones that were crying. But when I got to that professional level where it was like, where you get paychecks, like the women like that too. Like, nigga, this cut is terrible. Go redo this shit. Like, I can't have this bullshit air on, and at BET, I was doing live television. So it ain't no room for error, because we on the air, like, what I'm saying? And it was a lot of women running shit. So it ain't like it's male, female. It's just about that texture of being in that industry. You got to be cut from a certain cloth.
Yeah. And some people ain't built for it. So So I mean, it's definitely cutthroat, man. It's definitely,
I don't even think it's cutthroat, man. I think it's just
direct. Yeah,
it's not even cutthroat. It's just like, nah, man. It's like you just held accountable live right in front of yourself.
Yeah,
like if your shit ain't up to par, somebody's gonna let you know it's not up to par. And at the end of the day, that's what's necessary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But in like relationships, you gotta kind of coddle.
You said what, Mike?
Folks like that, when they do that to me, I call them friend.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the people who give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like the people who be on the fence.
But the art, yeah.
It's like they not helpful for you. Like if you in this industry and you want your shit to be the best, like people gonna tell you. And if they don't, you should really remove yourself from them. And it's not that those people, because a lot of people don't have the ability to be that honest.
They do it under the guise of caring about your feelings.
And it's like that shit don't work in this industry, you know what I'm saying? And so, which is why you gotta be on point. You gotta be on point. Like, I didn't have time for Hiley to hold my hand and tell me, I don't know. He need like, no, this scene sucks. Too much talking. He's like, get rid of your ego. You're fucking talking too much. I don't want to hear that shit. I want to see the scene. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have time to be like, I don't know. It's like, nah, nigga, we ain't got time for that. Let me know what the fuck I need to go cut. And I went and cut that shit and came back the next day. He was like, all right. It would have wasted too much time for him caring about how I felt.
Yeah, and well, that makes sense though, because you need that efficiency. Like Veronica talks about that as a producer, how Veronica's very blunt and direct. There is no time to massage it. It's like, this is what it is next.
Absolutely. And anybody in that field to tell you, male or female, it ain't. It's not cutthroat. It's just direct, like you said. It's just direct, because there's no time. It's not time for all of the emotions. There's just no time for it.
Yeah, and Yeah, that's what makes you. I mean, so like you said, that level of efficiency is necessary. I saw an interview that Will Smith was talking about that, about how he had his kids taught him how to kind of take time to reflect and think, because the way he moved was efficient, and that's how he got to the level he did. Because he was like, he didn't care how he felt. So, because if something needed to be done, it's not about your feelings, about what needs to be done. So, if he didn't care about how he felt, it was like there was no room for how nobody else felt at all. And so, until he had a daughter that was like, hold on, and somebody that you love like a daughter came to him and was like, but I don't like this.
Yeah, you hurt my feelings.
You have
hurt my
to.
feelings.
That's kind of like deflecting. So when I was talking specifically about being in this industry. Now, when you're dealing with parenting or relationships with people, that's different.
Yeah, well, no,
I'm talking about like when you're creating like art or specifically like film or music, you need people.
I'm combining the two because she was on tour.
Yeah, that's what exactly. Yeah,
okay.
I wear my hair back and forth.
I remember that.
And guess what? She said, "Daddy, I'm done." He said, "Well, baby, you just signed the tour." You know what she did? She cut her fucking hair off. What the fuck she gonna lay back and forth now?
Yeah, I remember that.
And
he's like, look, dad, look, what the fuck? I'm done, bro. It don't even matter. It don't even matter. Like, you gotta appreciate.
Yeah, but to the point again, she wasn't ready for that shit then.
Yeah, she wasn't. Yeah, and so he had to realize
that she was not ready for what that was.
Yeah, he had to realize that and appreciate that she was seeing, she saw it, and he had to see it as opposed to being in that go mode. But that's a luxury that you have when you have hundreds of millions of dollars and things of that nature, like you said.
Because I didn't, my kids are in the film, but my daughter put herself in the film. Okay. So I was like, oh, you made this decision because I know what it is, and it's like I'm tough. And my son worked on the film, and I was tough on him. And the cast was, the crew was like, yo, this nigga go on, but it's like my kids know what it is. Like, yo, if I didn't bring y'all on because I know what it is. So because they have that understanding, they knew what it was. Like my daughter's scene got cut. You know what I'm saying? But she knew what it was. Like they went into it, understand like, oh yeah, they know what it is. Where it seems as though Willow didn't know what it was when you sign up for that tour, like the grueling, show dates and the radio, and then you got to wake up, then it's hotel, like it's a grind. Yeah. So it's like when my kids signed up for the film, I gave them the rundown, like even because with my son, I was tough on because he was working on the crew. And I'm like, nah, nigga, you crew just like everybody else. So like I hold you to high standards. And he worked through it. He got tough. He was strong. He made mistakes, but he got better each time. So it
makes him a better man.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like I gave him that foundation. I didn't just throw him in the fire. I'm like, all right, if you about to be in on this, it's about to be real. I can't treat you no different because it's the game. It's like playing football. Like once the whistle blow, nigga, I can't save you. Yeah. Like nigga, it's war. Nigga, like when the whistle blow and you in them lines, that's it, bro. It's nothing I can do I can't protect you out here. You have to protect yourself. All I can do is prepare you how to protect yourself.
Yeah, and that's the essence of parenting, though, right?
Yep.
And that's something like I know. And I knew Mike was gonna give me a face. What, Mike?
Because if I put football pads on, I played tackle in the street first. Mm-hmm. So when you put football pads on, I felt like a fucking warrior, like an ultimate fucking warrior. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Like you gave me some pads, like I would do this shit with no pads. I have no problem with that. Put your little helmet on too. Let's go. It was not a problem. You gave me pads. Now I fucking gladiator. A gladiator. Yeah. I feel like a gladiator. So that's necessary. So
I just realized that it's almost 9 o'clock. Then I don't want to. You know how we do. We can talk. For the rest of the evening, but the show does have a runtime. So I want to get in the 2 questions. You already know the 2 questions that I asked everybody. And I'm definitely interested to hear your answer to the questions. The first one, of course, if you had the opportunity to talk to a younger version of yourself, with everything everything you've been through, thinking about the space you were in as a young person, as a 14-year-old JaySun, and where you were in your life and what you know now, all the wisdom, everything you've acquired, what kind of conversation would you have with that young man?
14. I was at Carroll. I was deep in the game at 14. What would I say to myself at 14? Believe in yourself, man. The answers lie within you. Study your history, study your people. Get the fuck out this Catholic school. Don't follow white doctrine. It's a lie. Stay strong. Stand on your principles, your morals, your character. You know what I'm saying? Be a leader, not a follower. Yeah, but most importantly, man, study the history of your own people. Don't believe these books in this school. Don't believe that church. You know what I'm saying? Stand on your own and study your own people. Yeah, that's what I would tell myself.
So you feel, because I feel like you kind of always, well, at that time you didn't have that understanding. Do you think 14-year-old JaySun would have listened to you if you said that?
Yeah, I would have listened to any a nigga like me, like a street nigga that can articulate his position. Because the biggest influence on my life was like a dude in my neighborhood, and he was like 5 years old, but he had the biggest influence on my life, more than my father, more than my uncles, more than any teacher, just because he was what I was trying to become. And so I emulated him, like, because what I'm saying, he was smart, he got a lot of girls, he wasn't scared of people, he could defend himself, he had respect in the streets. So he didn't even really have to like tell me shit. I just followed because I was trying to survive. Like, because I was seeing niggas getting killed and niggas getting robbed and niggas getting jumped all of the time. So I was looking at a person who handled themselves well in those situations and could thrive and could stand amongst kings in these warrior times. So I was really just following the mold of like how to, not get eaten up in the jungle. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would have definitely listened to him. Like if me now came to 14-year-old me, I would love the shit out of me. Like a nigga who could fuck niggas up, and you know what I'm saying, and just could articulate like feelings of how we feel and the feeling, and could give him the specific answers as to what he's going through. Oh, this is why you feel like this, nigga, because X, Y, Z, Z, Z. Hell yeah, I would listen. I was real influential at that age. I just didn't trust like sucker niggas, like teachers with ties. I ain't give a fuck about them niggas. You know what I'm saying? But if I saw a nigga like me, like, yeah, I'm gonna listen like shit. Yeah. And I think that's why I relate so well with young men now. That's why I got so many mentees. I got mentees all over the city that came up under my direction and my guidance. Prime example is, our councilman. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he listened to me when he was a little kid, because he saw I was from where he came from, and he saw that I could stand on the block and still give him articulate information. Like, nah, nigga, this is what you need to do. This is what's inside of you. This is the potential you got. And I wasn't talking to him from no book or from no motherfucking church, or like I was right there, niggas dying around us, and niggas selling crack and dope things. Like, nah, nigga, we way bigger than all this shit. I'm trying to tell you, bro. And he listened to that shit. And that's just one example I use because everybody know him. Yeah. But it's hundreds of youngins like that I had my hand in, and like they just walk around Southeast and ask about me. They tell you, I've been here for my community, bro. Like the whole time, like all my young men is kings now, raising their kids, instilled with principles and values. Like, yeah, they might veer off and shit because we got to survive too. You know what I'm saying? And I'm an advocate for survival too. Like I ain't one for like turning the other cheek and all that bullshit. It's like, nah, nigga, you gotta be able to defend yourself too. So if niggas popping off, it's like, yeah, we warriors too. So I would definitely listen to myself.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, man, and I'm gonna alter the second question a little bit, just because I usually ask about what it is you hope people see in you, but I know that's not necessarily a motive. Right. So I'm gonna alter it a little bit. So you know, you are in a position a lot of times where you have a lot of eyes on you. It's a lot of people looking at you, but the most important people that look at you, when Ja and Z look at JaySun, look at their dad, what is it that you hope they see?
Dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, but dad is a loaded term.
Yeah.
Like dad is a protector, a provider, a warrior, you know, a servant, a leader, a teacher. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think they respect me as a man, because you know they walk the streets with me and they notice how people are connected to me in different ways, and they ask me about that. And you know, a lot of my mentees know them, and they talk to them like, yeah, your dad did this for me. And they see how the elders interact with me. They see how the youngest interact with me, because they be out on the block with me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they know my life, you know, intimately. You know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, we have a dynamic relationship, and they see my core. Like I don't hide nothing from them. I tell them the truth about all of my feelings. You know, all of the things that I'm working on, because I require so much from them. And the only way I can do that is that they have to require the same from me. And my daughter holds me to my shit too. And so that's why it's like, I've never really met nobody like me, to be honest, because I hold myself to the highest standard, which is why I go so hard on other people. Because I go so hard on myself, and I expect to do supernatural things while in this dimension. And so those people that I consider to be in my spiritual council, I require so much of them that sometimes it's overwhelming. But you know, but I think my kids see dad, man, and all that entails.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Great answer. So, man, this has been amazing, man. I always appreciate our conversations. I always say, you know, I always feel like I come way better from our interactions. You know, you the big homie. I appreciate you, man. I love you 100%, man.
Likewise.
And thank you for taking the time to chill with us tonight and do it. Aisha and Mike made it all the way through the conversation. Nobody dropped out.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Right with me. And yeah, man. Yeah, it's man, I'm gonna have to have you come back and do, man. It's a whole lot of other questions I got that I feel like it's stuff that's necessary.
I got a whole bunch of shit releasing, so
yeah. So every release,
let me promote my shit when I need to.
Definitely, 100%, man. Always, you know, this you know, it's always, you always welcome. You know what I'm saying? It's always home. We next door, so just holler at me. You all right? If you ain't got to call me, yell outside. I
know, yell out the window.
Right. But
you know, we were shooting the movie. I was like,
yeah.
Dave, too damn loud.
I was grilling.
I know. I was like, shut up, Dave.
Phone. And he was shooting the movie inside. He's like, hey, we shooting right now. Shut up. He's like, all right, hold on. But yeah. So yeah, man, just that I feel like I live next door. You know, one time you told me your kids really believe that, you know, because my name's Super Dave. Mm-hmm. He was like, they really believe that I'm super and that you was Batman and you know, I feel like I live next door to a superhero, man. Like, we talk about the supernatural, you know what I'm saying, realm and the stuff that you're able to do. You know what I'm saying?
And we all got it in us, man. You got to tap in, bro.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, it's you know, it's believable and attainable because I grew up next to, you know what I'm saying, a superhero, man. Like I really, you know what I'm saying, I appreciate you more than I could ever say. And yeah, man, it's you know, I'm excited to see these parts of your journey where things, you know, that I've known about for a long time are coming to a realm where more eyes can be on them and you can get more of that acclaim that you deserve and you deserve for years. So keep grinding, keep shining, brother, always. Yeah, before I wrap it up, Mike, Isha, I got anything else?
No, it's always interesting to listen to JaySun. JaySun always has great.
Likewise, Queen. Appreciate you.
Good commentary.
Yeah.
Mike, I see you looking at a dog tag.
My birthday, my second oldest, she said, I may not have come from your genes, but you chose to love me as your own. For that, you are my superhero.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
Hell yeah.
And look, man, real quick before we wrap up, Mike, I wanted to make sure because you know, I was talking to my mom. We was talking about how we wanted to get you something for the wedding, and we didn't get a chance to. So we was, you know, we knew the anniversary and the birthday was coming up. So we, you know, we got you guys some. If y'all available on October the 22nd. Y'all got tickets to go see Dion Cole. I'm gonna email you the tickets.
That'd be awesome, man. I appreciate
it. Yeah. National Harbor. Yeah.
Oh, that's a blessing. You don't understand. My wife loves. She loves.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send you the email, man. I want you to know. You know. So happy birthday, happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Like I said, man. You know. I feel like you know I came up a little different, even though we all, you know, this area instilled some stuff in you. I came up a little different, and so recognizing that thread, that I always try to surround myself with people that have that for me. And I didn't even like somewhat subconsciously, you know what I'm saying? But I recognize that that you guys have, that you, Mike and Jay, y'all have a lot of similarities, and it's something that I connect with for some reason. I have no idea, but I appreciate both of y'all immensely, and Aisha, you cool too, but no, I'm just nah, man. But I definitely, man. I just want to, you know, like I said, one of the reasons I do this show is to get people on here I admire, and that definitely extends to Mike, you, and Aisha. You know, and just tell y'all how dope y'all are, man. So all three of y'all, man, I appreciate y'all 100%. On behalf of myself, Super Dave, aka Mr. Incredible, Just Mike, the one and only Aisha, and our illustrious guest, slash host, slash entrepreneur, leader, warrior, movie producer, music producer, artist. Just artists.
Man, I'm gonna say, man, it's a man.
Man, yeah, father, son, man. The one and only JaySun, man. Y'all go check out where can I get the music at? JaySun's Lyric.
Yeah, JaySunsLyrics.com. JaySuns lyrics.com.
Lyrics, okay, with an S on the end.
Yep, JaySuns.com.
Okay, and that's where you can get all of the music. The music is dope. The tentative date for the movie screening is the 7th.
October 7th at the Arc Theater. If I hear from my editor tonight, I'm going to send out the information tomorrow.
That's a bet. That's a bet. We're gonna try to be in the
you really heard it here first, because
yeah.
If I get the information from my editor tonight, I'm going to be sending out the actual screening information so people can get tickets starting tomorrow.
Great, man. Great. Yeah. So either way, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna make sure we support and follow. I definitely want to see the culmination. You said on another interview, you said it was your magnum opus.
Absolutely.
So I was like, I gotta see what this nigga's calling his magnum opus.
It's
because this is the first time I ever heard him use the term.
What does magnum opus mean?
It means your piece of
greatest work.
Yeah, your greatest work. Yeah.
And I got a lot of work.
My children.
Your magnum opus is your children.
That's awesome. I'm gonna think about that later on. My magnum opus.
I feel like you still got some stuff
mine
to
is
do,
inclusive
Mike.
because my children were a part of this.
Right.
So it's all rolled in there.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be what it is without them.
Magnum opus.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely we're gonna check it out and support, man. Again, thank you. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up because it's 9/11. Wow, that's weird. Let's wait 1 minute. Hold on. Let's
we go on 9/11. The numbers are working in our favor, brother.
I'll take that.
Don't let them put them little psyches on your mind, bro. The numbers are odd.
And respect that, and see it's that kind of guidance and wisdom that keep talking to the change to 912. That nah, man. But all right, man. Hey,
he look at the clock for real. Look.
Nah.
Bing.
All right, man. Peace.